Okay. Welcome back to the Quintessential Quintuplets anime review, episode number 5. This I'm discussing the 14th episode of the anime, The 7 Goodbyes, Part 1. Now, I thought this was kind of weird that they skipped over the next arc that comes next, which is Labor Day Sniffing Arc, which is only 2 chapters. And I'm thinking, why the heck would they skip over this for? I mean, yeah, I knew that the title of this episode was called 7 Goodbyes, but why in the world would they skip over this for? No idea. This episode adapts from chapters 30 and 41 and about half of chapter 42. Why would I say half? Because there's a big chunk of this chapter that's completely left out for no reason at all. Episode basically has a complete... the opening, first portion of this episode is complete anime original. You have Furugu basically in his house studying, and then, well, apparently, it looks like though he apparently stayed up all night. So, the very next day, he apparently, when he arrives at a place he's supposed to work, basically, the Quintuplet's product, he apparently is collapsed in the hallway due to lack of sleep. And, of course, Izuka, the oldest of the 5 sisters, basically gives her basically a bunch of worksheets that he worked all night on these worksheets. And she's a bit nervous because, well, the final exam is coming up. Yep, final exam is coming up. So, they pretty much, and then we have into the part where apparently, where Neno and one of the sisters are arguing over a TV remote. Yes, in case you're curious, though, did I ever do this when I was younger? Oh, yes, I did. I did argue with my siblings over the TV remote because, basically, I mostly argue with my brother. Over, not much my sister, mostly with my brother. So, they argue, and Fugu was like, no, we're shutting it off until we're done. And they studied for a while, and of course we see, one of the sisters basically, I think it's the oldest one of their sisters, well, apparently still can't get along, and Yosema basically chips in, hey, I'll come with an interesting idea. And then, of course, Isuru comes with an interesting idea too, and, well, doesn't much anything. Then I was like, nah, I'm basically not through this at all. So I'm going to study at my room. And of course, Miko basically tries to give him a stop. And then Izuku just walks up, trying to stop basically to give us papers. And trying to get anything out of hand. And then Izuku just walks up to Nino and slaps her across the face. And if you're going to ask, did she do this in the manga? Yes, she did. Though they're actually kind of out of it. Of course, then we have slapping Izuku in the face too. And referred to her as a domestic meat monster. And she gets upset by it. And then she's like, I'm moving out. Because she's getting fed up with this. So she moves to a hotel. While Izuku moves out too. Though she forgets her wallet. Yes, she forgot her wallet. Though they say it's her purse. But yeah, this is her wallet. Okay, if she's going to leave the apartment, why in the world would she leave her wallet there for? It makes no sense at all. If you're going to ask me, if right in the comments, did she use the manga? Yes, she did. And, of course, they wonder, where the heck these two are. And, of course, they finds her very easily. Well, apparently she's staying at Furugu's place. And, of course, well, she's cooking dinner. And, of course, Furugu's father basically has got no problem with this at all. Also, she decided to take a bath first. And then we had apparently his father and his sister decided to take a bath at the same time. Which I'm kind of why in the world would a father bathe with his own daughter for? That makes no sense at all. It's probably a Japanese custom. I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe because they have a little bit of bath time, whatever. Yep. So, as soon as basically, right after that, of course, they have a little sleep. And then, of course, Furugu and Izuka decide to have a chat outside in their pajamas, walking to just take a walk. They're I'll be the father. And then, of course, well, somebody heard something outside. Who this person was, they don't really say. And they do track down Neno, and she's staying at a hotel. Yep, she's staying at a hotel. And, well, they ask her, hey, you see me with... Of course, well, Izuka's one of the quintuplets. So she asks Mr. Crowley, hey, you see anybody who with the same face as me? And one of the ladies like, yeah, I saw somebody at the hotel. That's what they found out. And she's basically putting her face on, and it falls off. And of course, doesn't leave though. She sees that Furu's got her charm. I think it's her charm bracelet that he had from the previous season of the show. She takes it back and kicks him out. Of course, he also hurts his arm as well. And of course, he frequently tries to come back, and then he just suffers through depression because he can't get these girls to come back in the same place. And then, he goes back to the place early, from the previous night, and then he comes across Rina, the woman who he met 5 years prior. And then, in case you're curious, though, and then, next we see, we see Furu's come out of the wall. What the heck just happened? Did the anime just cut out, a scene? Yes, the anime cut out an entire portion of a chapter. Apparently for no reason. They come back from commercial break, and then, next we see, a splash, and then we see Furu coming out of the water, and it's Isuka, ooh, by the way, they mentioned her in the episode, where she has apparently decided to join the track team. They do cut out a portion of the manga where she was asked to join the track team, the basketball club, but they have marathon coming, so they have to do it. So she's practicing, and I'm like, okay, now studio, why the heck would you cut out this scene for? I mean, I watched the episode. I watched it all the way through. And I kind of felt as though that the anime basically cut out half of a chapter for no reason. This is something that basically the anime building up to. Also, this episode has the first appearance of the girl's mother in a flashback. Though she doesn't speak per se, but this technically is her first appearance in the anime. Okay? Now, why in the world did they have to cut out Rina's entire scene from the manga? If you're a little curious though, what the heck happened? It's mostly her and Furu just chatting, and of course go on a boat, and he basically collapses in the water when she comes out of the boat. And then she comes basically soaking wet. And then he goes visit Neno, and tells the girl that it won't come in there anymore. No, Neno basically decides to throw a towel, tell him about being a bum. To be a bum, and of course she just come out to my room. And of course, gonna study. Yeah, because the first I was first I think she didn't really care, now she really does care. Probably because basically he came in depressed, and the fact that the exam is coming less than a week. I gotta say it's a good episode. I like what they do with it so far. I mean, I thought the first. I mean, yeah, it was this series basically was something I just got into purely because I felt like it. But this episode basically has got actual conflict happening, which is something that you don't see very often in the anime. Now, in case you're wondering, though, was this episode better than last week's episode? Yes, definitely. It was much better than last week. Even though last week adapted an entire arc in one episode. Yeah, believe it or not, it did. Yes, it adapted roughly 3 chapters, 1 episode. Though I do... Oh yeah, by the way, if you're curious which chapter this is one that adapts, well, it skips 38 for some reason. Despite the fact that chapter is the start of this arc, they skip it. Don't know why, but they do. I wouldn't be surprised, though, they adapt some stuff for next week's episode for Semi Goodbyes Part 2. Yeah. So, maybe they'll throw in as a flashback the conversation with Rina in next episode. I hope they do, because it was kind of dumb for the anime to cut out a whole chapter, because here's the thing. Prior to this episode, I would say that the anime is really faithful to the source material, really well. And then you come to see, it's okay, first episode did a pretty good job. This episode, 3 full chapters, do a pretty good job with. And then they adapt half a chapter. Why in the world it is for? Don't have any idea. They might continue next week. Who knows, okay? So yeah, that's it for single review. My next review will be review for Case Closed. Yep, that'll be coming next. Yep, please see the video. Bye.